What is up, everybody? Thank you guys for coming to this burning ASO questions. Thank you to AppFollow for putting on this amazing webinar and bringing together all of your favorite ASO tools into one place to answer your questions. Look, ASO has been changing a lot. I'm super excited to talk to everybody on this panel. And because we got so many great minds, we're going to try to get to all the big questions that we found to be the most valuable. And as I told the panelists, if you guys want to add on or talk about anything other than that's not listed, feel free to jump in. So let's get started. So let's start with this, guys. Mel, maybe you could kick this off. What are the ranking criteria? What is it based upon? And maybe we can start with iOS and then move on to Google Play.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to suggest, so obviously the criteria are quite different, whether you're on the App Store or on the Play Store. And then I would also do a difference between if you're referring to category ranking or keyword ranking. On the App Store, it's pretty straightforward in the sense that what really influences category ranking, I would say the main influencer is definitely the download velocity of your app. So the more downloads your app is getting, that is going to help you go up those rankings. In terms of keyword, it's much more the conversion rate that your app has on a specific keyword. So if your app converts really well on a keyword, that's definitely going to help you ramp up the rankings. On Google, I'd say that Google also uses those criteria, but definitely the main criteria on Google is they have a much higher focus on quality metrics, such as retention, crash rate, even Android vitals. So it's actually much harder to see any impact on Google because the algorithm is so much more complex because it takes all those extra elements into account. So really on Google, I'd say you have to look out on your retention, on your uninstalls, anything that translates into like quality metrics. That's the main influence on Google, I'd say.
Mel, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. Can you give us a little bit of intro and your background? Who you're representing today?
Sorry, yeah. So I'm Mel. I'm CPO at AppTweak. So I'm in charge of the AppTweak product, and AppTweak is an ASO tool, like many others.
Awesome. Okay, and then we got Mobile Action, and then we've got Thomas from AppRadar, and then Ilya. Is that the?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay, and then from AppFollow as well. So why don't we start with this? And is it Mustafa from Mobile Action?
Yeah, I am Mustafa from Mobile Action.
Okay,
let me give you a quick intro. I started as a data scientist. Right now, I'm the head of product at Mobile Action. We are an app intelligence suite. We are offering ASO intelligence, ad intelligence, market intelligence. Today, obviously, we are going to talk about ASO.
Cool. All right. Well, why don't we talk about this, Mustafa? Like, what is the impact of keyword optimization? You know, this is something that I've noticed from an overall App Store optimization. Maybe when I see people shaking head, but like, I noticed it used to be very powerful. Like, we had the little tricks here and there that could get us to really grow downloads, but I've noticed a certain change. So what have you guys noticed on the impact of keyword optimization? Mustafa, you want to kick it off and then
sure.
Go around the room.
So keyword optimization is like a must right now, but it's not enough on its own. So you need to, for impressions, you definitely need to do your keyword optimization. That's a must. But since the app stores are really crowded right now, everybody is doing their optimization on that side. So everybody is looking for keywords, hunting for keywords. So this is a must. You should be doing that. But conversion rates are getting more and more important every day. Ranking algorithms are taking more into account them. So what we think is that first you find the right keywords, then you should tackle with your conversion rates so that you can get meaningful results from the keyword optimization.
Thomas, you got anything to add to that? And you want to do a quick little intro?
Yeah. Hey, my name is Thomas. I'm the CEO over here at AppRadar. I've been working as a consultant in the field of App Store optimization. I don't know, it started 8 years ago or something like that. Then I founded the company of AppRadar, and what we are doing is we're also providing an ASO tool as well as services around the field of ASO and ASA. I just can, I would say, agree to what Mustafa said in terms of, keywords are it's like the base layer, because keywords is the way how apps are being found within the App Store. When people enter the App Store, go into the search bar, they enter there something, they enter a keyword, so they look for an app that they wanna like install, or they're looking for a game that they wanna play. And also the conversion rate, yes, for sure. Once the app is found, it's about convincing the user out there that the app also gets downloaded. And so therefore, I think really having a high quality App Store page actually is also, I would say, at least same important as, like finding the right keywords, because on the one hand, you have to be visible, but on the other hand, you have to convince the people that your app or your game is exactly that, what the user now needs to install on their smartphone.
Is there one factor, Ilya, that you would start paying attention to, right? Like, I think before, what I used to focus on was keyword optimization, and then work my way down to like creative optimization and so forth. How have things changed for you guys? Like, when you look at the most important factors, what are you kind of weighing, in your opinion?
Like, you remember these times when we were talking about App Store optimization, that means only like keywords. So everybody was busy about keywords. But right now it's like a process, the big process, that optimizing keywords, optimizing screenshots, optimizing user feedback, and even internal metrics of the app. Like in Google Play, we know that Google Play consider app crashes and loading times for the optimization, for the rankings. So it's a complete process. I don't know how we can like separate one from another. It's like you have to do keywords, you have to do CR optimization and internal app optimization. So it's like in everything. And first, of course, you have to start with keywords, because it's like it's the only way to get visibility in the store. But then you have to do everything together. So without like, today I'm doing keywords, and like next year I will do screenshots. It won't work this way. So
I hope you don't wait a year.
yeah.
I want to say hello to everybody who's been writing on the chat. So if you guys got questions as we're talking about this, please feel free to put it in the chat. I'm continually monitoring it. So thank you guys for coming. Ilya, let's talk about this. Keyword density. How important is keyword density?
Keyword density was really important, like maybe even 2 years ago, when we just in Google Play, as we talking about keyword density, is Google Play. So we just needed to, to put as many keywords as we can in the description, just stuff it, like repeat it several times, and maybe doing some other stuff. And right now it doesn't work. Right now you have to prepare your description for Google algorithms using the Google natural language, and trying to optimize your descriptions, optimize your keyword density for the Google machines, for the Google robots. So keyword density is not really important right now. Your final text is what matters. Like it should be for Google algorithms, for people. It's without all this, like we can we can order, like for the flower or the app, you don't need to put your all types of flowers in the list, so it won't work. Google will consider it spam, and even you will rank worse. So it's not really important right now, but of course you have to include all the most important keywords in your description to get the Google to bring the idea what your app is about. So
Yeah, Mel, I was going to ask you, like, should we be repeating a bunch of our target keywords in the long description? I know you want to talk a little bit more about the keyword density side of things too.
Yeah, it's just because I wanted to share an experience we had with a client that's from India. And so they're really focused on games, and especially like card games. And she's actually been working on her description over the last 2 months. And she really did see, so she really focused on 2 keywords. The keywords were rummy and poker. And she redid the whole description. It was a lot of work because, of course, as Ilya says, like, you wanted to read it like in a natural human way, but she managed to increase the density of those words at quite a nice level. And we did see that the rankings of her app for those keywords, so the words were rummy and poker and any related combination like rummy games, poker games, well, actually she went up from ranking like in the top 15 to ranking in the top 10. So obviously on one side she was happy, but on the other side she was like, wow, that's a lot of work just to, you know, be number 7. Obviously she's targeting number 1. But yeah, with Google, you have to be patient with that. But I would say that it does still have an effect, and you need to need to repeat important keywords in your description, but you can't do keyword stuffing. And so we actually have in AppTweak, we have this little thing that actually measures the keyword density. And we always recommend to have a density between 2 and 3%, because that's enough for the Google algorithm to see, okay, this word is repeated a lot, but you don't want to go over 3% because then that's definitely keyword stuffing and then you get punished. But yeah, I just wanted to share that example of a client that actually did it and they did see an impact.
I love those numbers, Mel, the 3%. Now, did she write a longer description too, or was the length of the description have any impact on that?
Well, actually, the thing about density is that if you have a very short description, so imagine it's 5 sentences long, you can repeat a keyword like 10 times, and obviously you'll have this huge density. The longer your description is, the more you're going to have to repeat that keyword to maintain that same level of density. And so again, I would really focus first on the more human aspect and natural aspect. So you don't want to have like 2,000 character description long, because that's just really long. And the longer it gets, the more difficult it's going to be to get a high like density level. But of course, you don't want to write 2 sentences, because people who are actually reading your description, they're probably looking for information on your game. And so it is a nice area, even though only 2% actually read description. Those who are reading, they're looking for information. If you want to give them that valuable information, like you know, why they should download your game, any I guess more like trust factors, like that many people have also downloaded the game, or it's an editor's choice, or you know, those elements. So it's worth, you know, having quite a nice description. We recommend around like 1,000 characters, but I wouldn't take that as a number. I would really adapt it to, you know, what you have to say. And if you don't have more to say, then just leave it there.
Just an assumption here, and I want to just make sure when she's going after those keywords, they were in the title as well, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so she added them, she changed them, she added them in the title, but they actually were already in the title. So the real change that she did was start repeating them more in the description. They were already in the title and the short description.
Yeah, and I would like to add one thing here, if you don't mind, please. Right now, I guess even the 2,000 symbol description, if it's done right, it will work better, much better than 4,000 symbol description when you just stuff your keywords like one by one. So it won't work anyway, and it's like at new times we have to adapt.
Got it. Cool. Anybody else want to add anything? Thomas, Mustafa? No?
Yeah, I would say in the end, I think it's really super important to have the end user in mind, because when you write the description at the end, you want to convince them that your app is, once again, the app that they should download. And so therefore, I think it's really important that you nail the description. I would say especially the beginning of the description, because it might not be that people read through the complete description, especially when it's a longer one, but chances are super high that they read through the first paragraph or maybe the first 2 paragraphs. So I think it's very important that you nail it, and also that you incorporate important keywords in there as well.
Got it. On the topic of keywords, Mel, how do you track the organic uplift per keyword? Is that even possible?
Yeah, so obviously that's a huge question all our clients have, and that's like kind of the really annoying thing with ASO, is that neither Apple or Google give you any metrics to be able to measure that uplift. Compared to like any paid campaign, you would get exactly, you know, the uplift that you have depending on the budget you spend. So that's not a big challenge that we've been trying to solve at AppTweak. We released this indicator that kind of tells you an estimation of the number of organic downloads that you get from a specific keyword in a specific country. So obviously it's an estimation because no one really knows that number, but we've been working on that KPI for a year. We have our data scientists been working on that. And we use like lots of different elements, and also gathered all the data that we have from the thousands of clients that we have across the world. And we've actually been comparing our estimations with the kind of estimations that, you know, some really big clients that we work with have as well, and that they're actually quite happy with that. And so when we released that KPI, that was a big thing, because it could finally help all those ASO managers actually show to their own managers okay, this is the impact that we had, or that specific change I made, that translated into that many extra organic downloads after 1 month, for instance. So yeah, just to really summarize, what are the main elements that we consider in that formula? Obviously, it's the volume of the keyword. So if the keyword drives a lot of traffic, that's going to bring more potential downloads. The ranking of your app, if the higher you rank, the more conversion you get. And then we take also into consideration if that word is a brand or not, because obviously when people are searching for a brand, they are in a very different mood than when they're searching for a generic keyword. So if they search for a brand, they're just going to go for that brand. If they're in it's a generic keyword, they're much more in a browsing phase. And so results in number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually have like a chance, to get download.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like that. And I think that answers some of the question that Yvonne had about low search volume versus high search volume. And in my opinion, as always, go after the high search volumes, because the low search volumes just aren't going to do much for you.
Well, I guess really number one, and that is for all keywords, is the relevancy. You can't go after keywords that have a high volume but are just too broad or not relevant enough. So if you're in the sports sector or in the fitness sector, you don't want to go after the word fitness. Everyone's going after that word. So okay, it's probably a relevant keyword, but you want to find what are the words that probably have a lower volume but are more relevant and really more specific, because those are the ones on which you'll have higher conversion. And as I said before, conversion, like really one of the main elements that impact keyword ranking. So I really focus on relevancy and get that balance between not like too competitive keywords, but obviously you don't want to go after too low volume, because those keywords, no one are searching for them either.
Got it. Hey, Mustafa, I want to move on next to, and this is a great question that Corey asked, can you test ASO ideas with ads prior to implementing these keywords? Like, hey, I found this great keyword, not sure if it's that relevant, but somewhat relevant.
Yeah. Before that, I would like to add something to Mel, actually.
Yes.
We should be really careful about what we are calling as low volume keywords and high volume keywords, because the relation between the keywords popularity scores are really exponential. So if you go through high number of popularity, it goes really with the exponentially. But if you're going to target for low volume keywords, not that low, like 10, 20, 30, those scores are also fine. So as Mel said, relevancy is really important. You should go with your keyword, and you should be careful about the exponentiality between the numbers. The numbers that they can be deceiving. And for that question about how to test ASO ideas with ads, with advertisement, my answer for our clients is always like this. If you are not able to do your updates as regularly as possible, so if you have a big app, if you don't have rights to do that, you should be doing that. But if you're an indie developer or if you have chance to really implement these ideas, you should be implementing them. So as far as I know, there are really great tools in the market, ASO tools in the market. You should be definitely implementing them and getting the results from them. Because implementing in ads, for instance, if you would like to try a keyword in Apple search ads, it is really costly to run at that scale. So to get a really good number of impressions, you need to pay some money, and that money most of the time is not equivalent of getting the exact result. So my advice to our clients is always like this: if you have a chance to update your app, and if you can test it, you should test it on live. But if you are working with a really big app, or if you are going to test your ideas in creative site, like screenshot icon, you can definitely do some advertisement on Apple search ads or ad networks. You can even do try your screenshots as ad creatives and see the results as a and B test, then choose the one which works better.
Cool. How does ASA impact ASO, Mustafa?
Yes, that's a great question, actually.
Thanks, Hannah.
How does, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Apple has a black box algorithm on the ad rank side. But what we know from Apple's workshops about Apple search ads, and also from other sources, that your conversion rates and TTR rates are really important for those algorithms to rank on you on a keyword. So it is both applicable for paid search and organic search. If you're doing a good job on the ASO, it means that you are having a really good TTR and CR numbers. And if you have really good CR conversion rates, then it means Apple will you rank higher in the ad rank algorithm, which is basically means you pay less money for the same impressions. So this is really important. So you should be doing both sides. You should be always considering your conversion rates on the ASO side. Also, you should be considering on the ASA side to pay less money and get more impressions.
Thomas, I know you want to jump in on this.
Yes, I totally think that this is, let's say, two channels, especially when we look at the Apple App Store. These are two channels that are coming so much hand in hand to each other. So because on the one hand, you can really say, okay, I want to rank for this specific keywords, running ads on it. Yes, for sure, you have to pay for the click, but by doing so, you can already figure out if you can find this fit for relevancy, meaning you can really analyze keywords and see, okay, I want to target these keywords. Do these keywords really drive traffic to my App Store listing? And on the other hand, am I able to convert this traffic that is coming to my App Store listing? And what we have also seen from the tests that we are running, once you find this, let's say, magical fit, that you find keywords that are really relevant, you can run ads on them. And you also optimize your store listing, you optimize your keyword field respondingly to those keywords as well. You will see also an uplift in organic downloads when you're getting downloads through the ads as well, because this is the way how the App Store algorithm in the background also works. So they see, okay, this keyword is driving downloads for this one specific app. So this means this app must be somehow relevant for this keyword, and therefore it should rank higher. Kind of. And so this is something that you as an App Store optimization manager or Apple Search Ads manager out there can really use for your own benefit as well, and really boost also keywords, so to say, the organic ranking of those keywords as well. Yes.
Got it. Now, I want to move on to video previews, but I want to get a sense of how you guys feel about video previews. So with a thumbs up or a thumbs down, do video, there's a great question from Herman. I'll go into details. Do video previews work better? So thumbs up or thumbs down?
So I guess it depends, you know, when you're making your video.
It's horrible, Ilya. That's not the game. You're messing up the game. Okay? I'm gonna
Sorry.
You're totally messing up the game. All right. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ilya. I'm kidding.
So it depends when you're making the video preview for like a calculator. It definitely won't work because people don't need video previews for calculators. So, but I guess for games it's crucial, because in games you have to show your gameplay. But in apps, I don't know, maybe it's like complicated app. Maybe then you need a video preview. But for general apps, I don't think so. But for games, I guess it must to be there. So even more, you have to create like several video previews to test them. So it's a really important thing here.
What about you, Mel? You had
we work a lot with gaming studios, and they definitely saw when the preview on iOS went on autoplay, they saw an impact of like 30% conversion rate, and so that was a huge thing. And now it's gone. Google has done the same. So definitely, if you're in that sector, that's definitely something you should do. But then we're also in contact with other more apps in general. And actually one that was this time in fitness, they did a lot of testing. They were always testing video against screenshots and all types of video, horizontal, vertical, and so on. And the video never won. And so it was interesting to see that, it's not the case for everyone. And obviously, like a calculator, it's not very sexy. You don't want to see that video. But I would think, fitness, you can have some really nice video material. But for that app in particular, at least, video was not working. So you definitely need to test it. And whatever you learn, even if it's from your competitor and they have exactly the same app as you, you need to test it as well, because you don't have the same user base. And so, people don't interact with the app the same way. So definitely to be tested. But in most of the cases, yeah, the response we got from our clients was really positive when they had that autoplay.
Does it have an impact whether you're paid or free? Or I know there's not a lot of paid apps anymore, but does that impact whether you should have a video preview or not?
Yes, I mean, taking over, sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, especially in like in the gaming field, when we're talking about paid games, so to say premium games, I think videos are really, really important because especially there, you know, like you need this kind of first feeling that people really say, okay, I'm gonna pay now 5 or 10 or whatever dollars for this game to play it. And it's really hard to make this decision only based on screenshots. This is what we have seen also in our tests that we were running with our clients due to this regards. So I think especially for a category like this, I would say there is not really a way around because you somehow really have to showcase your game. But what we also have figured out that most of those gaming studios are somehow already, you know, like into this field of creating promotional stuff for the games anyhow. So there is, you know, like with not spending, you know, like tons of hours of work into creating this preview video, just take what you have, put it in the App Store, and then test it and see if it can help driving the conversion rates. Yes.
Okay, let's try a rapid fire question and maybe get a quick answer from everybody here. But I think I would love to get an answer on this from you guys. So Evan or Yvonne asked, what is the most critical metric that shows if you're doing ASO right or you're doing it wrong? Mustafa, you want to kick us off? Remember, it's quick fire.
Yes. As ASO tools, we love metrics. So we are providing tons of metrics to our customers, our clients. We are showing them share of voice metrics, download estimations, source metrics. We have difficulty metrics, traffic metrics. They are all over the place. But in the end, for all the ASO, if you're doing it right, you should see an uplift on the impressions. And if you are doing a good job on ASO, you will be seeing your conversion rates goes higher. Those two metrics are really crucial and goes hands in hands. So if you increase your impression, it really affects your conversion rate. If you increase your conversion rate, then you rank higher and you do better. So to be honest, the two metrics that I'm currently obsessed with are like conversion rates and the impressions.
Mel?
Yeah, like sorry. Okay, please go on.
We lost Steve, or what?
Yeah, it looks like we lost him.
No, I'm
Hey, go
still,
ahead. Okay, sorry.
Okay, but the
Go ahead,
video,
Mel.
we lost
Sorry.
your video.
Okay, so I guess yeah, the most important metric, of course, is downloads. So if you're doing it right, your downloads should grow. But if you get, you know, some deeper, we are all here. We are making apps not for downloads. We are making it for revenue. So the second thing you have to check the revenue. If the revenue goes up, because you can like drive thousands of downloads, but these downloads will be not really relevant. They won't buy your in-apps, they won't subscribe to your apps, and you don't get any uplift like in revenue. So just don't forget about checking your cash flow and your money when you're doing the app store optimization. So because all the stuff about we are earning money, not just bringing downloads. Of course, downloads is good when we are just monetizing with ads. So more downloads, more people, more users, more ads views. Okay, it's fine. But when we are optimizing for like subscriptions or in-apps, it's better to, you know, to check this metric as well. So I guess it's my opinion here.
I think I would say, like, if you want to do a very quick sanity check, I would just go and look at, you know, a small set of like 10 really relevant keywords for your app that have good volume, and make sure that you rank in the top positions for that set of keywords. That would be my like 2-minute check. And I think if I were doing an app, or when I work on apps, that's what I wake up and do every morning. I take that little subset of keywords. Okay, am I working well? How are my competitors doing? And did I go up or down overnight? And if something happens, then that's where I panic.
Thomas?
Yeah, from my side, I have also to say, I mean, it's harder to track, but the further you go down the funnel, the better the results are. So in the end, you want to do app store optimization because you want to drive more sales. So I think having a look at the sales, or also having a look at trial starts or subscription starts, something like that might be also a very valuable number, because in the end, it's about really the complete user journey. It doesn't matter if you can acquire tons, thousands, 10,000s of new users on keywords that are not relevant to your app. Chances are that you're not going to convert those into sales. And so therefore you lost a lot of money or did a lot of stuff that was useless. And so I think therefore it's always very important to keep that in mind, to have a look at the end. Is it driving revenue or not?
Yeah, and sorry, one more thing I would like to add, if you don't mind. So when you start growing your revenue, when you start bringing more, bringing more money to Apple, because they took your 30% of revenue, you will get more chances to get featured. Even this thing will work. So Apple will see that, okay, this app is bringing us money. So people are buying their stuff and they bringing us money. So they will feature you more. So it's all connected. That's why I was talking about the revenue thing here.
Yeah. Hey, do you think Cave asked, do you think revenue impacts rankings as well?
Oh, so maybe it's a top grossing charts. Maybe it's it's not direct impacts here. So
got it. Hey, Ilya, while we're on this topic of, I want to move on to, and I've heard rumblings of this, but does Google read the icons and the screenshots? Like they could see the text from those screenshots, and then that will help you. Does it have an impact at all?
yeah, you see, I guess even 1 year ago, it was like some fantastic thing, but right now it's almost 99% of confirmed that Google really reads your stuff on the screenshots. So we made some tests in our small community here, and we saw that you rank for the keywords that you don't have like in the description. You have them only in screenshots. And the one big thing was happened with one of my friends some time ago. He had like a child stories app in the Google Play, and he got banned because Google found the French word. It's called succès. I don't know actually what does it means in French, but it's something connected with the kids books. And Google saw this keyword. It was translated to English, and this app got banned. So because of this screenshot, so that's why it's really important to describe your app on the screenshots like a big text, so that's why Google can read it and like rank for some other keywords. So I don't know, does it works for the icon as well, but I'm almost 100% sure that it works for screenshots. So just try to it's a funny, but I guess we should try doing text optimization for our screenshots. It's will it work? I don't know, but we have to try.
Yeah. And Thomas, is there a way to automate the uploading of screenshots for multiple language? I'm localized for all 26 regions. Is there a way to automate that thing?
Yes, for sure. There's a lot of automation possible. So on the one hand, if we talk about the topic of screenshots especially, and also localizing screenshots, I think there are two sides of it. On the one side is the creation of the screenshots, and the second side is the upload of those screenshots. On the first side, creation of screenshots, there are tools like Fastlane, for example, that you can integrate within your app that help you creating screenshots while testing your app, which means you don't have to manually take all those screenshots. The benefit is also that you can localize what you see on these screenshots. So this means you can really publish the content of your app in different languages. And create all those screenshots. But then comes the second biggest problem. Now you have around 1,000 images that you have to upload into App Store Connect. And I can tell you this is really a pain in the ass problem that you have to solve. But luckily, little bit of promotion here, we released a tool at AppRadar actually this week that helps you saving a lot of time by simply dragging and dropping one folder with all your screenshots into AppRadar, and AppRadar automatically detects the language as well as the resolution, uploads all the stuff to App Store Connect and the Google Play console, and saves you hours of time.
Cool. Thank you guys. So like if you guys are not in the chat, make sure you follow the chat, because all the experts that we have here are in there answering your questions as well, because we can't get to everything. Mel, I want to move on to you. Noga asked this: how do you leverage custom store listings for ASO purposes, and why is it still important?
It's definitely really important, because how Google works is that it only allows you to get like a metadata version of your app for a specific language. And so The main example is South America or Latin America, where basically before you could only have the same, icon, screenshots, and text for whole Latin America. I actually used to live in Chile, and definitely those countries are very, very different. We work a lot with our 365 Scores, and it's like a sports app where you can follow like your favorite team. Obviously, that's an app that is hyper localized, and so they definitely use custom store listings. So that in Argentina and in Chile and in Colombia, you have the different football teams, because football is like a really big thing over there. So for them, that was pretty huge. Currently, I'm in Belgium. Well, in Belgium, we actually have 2 languages like France and Flemish, French and Flemish. And so again, that's like another way to really get closer to your users. The French that we speak is not always the same as the French in France. And we actually work with this travel app. And they use custom store listings to actually target Belgium French and France French differently, because the words that we use are different. So definitely something for those, if you have big markets that use the same language but not exactly the same, definitely you need to use custom store listings.
Ilya, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I would like something about the Arabic market. So in Google Play, you have like only one Arabic language, and you can target. You couldn't target before, like Saudi Arabia or Emirates. So, but right now we made some custom store listings for the Saudi Arabia and Qatar and other countries for our travel apps, and we got like a huge spike in impressions and downloads, because of like we just added some country flags and like some local things on the screenshots, but still we got like a really big boost in downloads, about 30%, just because we added some flags, local flags on the screenshots. So it's working. It's quite complicated to understand how it works, to find it, to create these pages. It's not very easy, but it definitely should be done. And if your app is localized to like the Arabic market or South America markets, so it's the must thing to be done there to increase your downloads even more.
Yeah. Hey guys, I want to kind of talk about this, and maybe Mustafa, you can lead this off with this. And this is a question that's in the comments below, but Bradley asked, like, if an app has 0 downloads, I'm just starting from the very beginning, what kind of advice would you give that app?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, Mustafa, I think I got cut out here. But Bradley asked this question in the comments: if an app completely has 0 downloads, what kind of advice do you have for an app that has 0 downloads? What can they do to try to get keyword rankings?
So as we first discussed, they should start with the keyword optimization. Also, what we are offering to our clients is that they should be aware that which category they are working on. So what we have seen from over and over again, for instance, for gaming apps, search has like 50% of the downloads, but for photo and video apps, the downloads coming from search is in total 85% of the organic downloads. So this is really important. If you are doing anything, first you should be knowing what's your market about, and you should be focusing on that. If that is a game app, they should try to run some ads and see whether they are getting any downloads or not. But definitely every app should first do their keyword optimization. Then they can start to try different user acquisition channels to whether it clicks for their category or not. So this is not like a single advice, but they should be aware of their category and how they should approach to the problem.
Mel, you got something to add? You seem like you got something to add.
I know. I just wanted to. So that's actually a question we have a lot, because we work a lot with like indie developers as well, and we always advise them to, when they do their keyword research, at that point to start targeting actually quite lower volume and even more relevant, but long tail. And so, for instance, imagine you want to target the word poker game. Well, we help them brainstorm like, okay, but what are like relevant keywords around the whole poker game universe, and make sure that you start to rank well on those longer tail keywords that are related to poker game. And that actually gives a really nice signal, especially to the Google algorithm, which is actually quite smarter than Apple, but it can also work on Apple. But because then Google will rank you on those words, and then gradually Google will associate you with the whole like poker game universe, and that will bring you gradually like credibility to actually start targeting the word poker game, for instance.
Got it. Thomas?
Also, from my side, maybe also an additional opinion. Yes, I have to say, I think starting especially a completely new app or a completely new game with 0 installs, I would say just saying, okay, let's do ASO. This is the channel that I want to focus on. Yes, it might work, but it might take endless amount of time until you will start seeing the first results, because as Mel already said in the introduction, the download velocity is one of the most important ranking factors that you have, no matter within the Google Play Store or within the Apple App Store. And this means if you have 0 downloads, also the App Store cannot give you weight to rank on specific keywords. And then often also it's the issue that people start their app completely fresh, put it into the App Store and think, okay, I'm going to rank now for fitness as a keyword or something like that. So where we really have this complete mismatch. And yeah, as mentioned, I think it's somehow for sure doable, but it will take really a lot of time until you start ranking organically only. But I think one channel that can help in the beginning is teaming up with influencers, maybe also micro-influencers that are working especially in a field like, or let's say in the target audience that you want to attract with your app or with your game. And when you can get them for launching your app or for your game, I think this can really give you the first initial kind of boost. And from there, you can take it organically. But yeah, as mentioned, only organically, it will take really, really long.
Yeah. Ilya, you got anything to add? You're on mute, brother. You're still on mute. Unless I'm lagging. You're on mute.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, please, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I guess guys told everything we can offer here.
Okay. So the next thing I want to move on, and I think this is a great question. Arturo asks, is there a way to index more keywords for iOS other than the title, subtitle, and keyword field? Ilya, you want to take this?
Yeah, I guess the only thing here is to use search ads, unfortunately, because it's you know, for example, if we're talking about like a French keywords, the only thing we can do is like fill the French localization in App Store Connect, or if we are targeting only France, we can use like English UK localization. But if you want to target more, unfortunately, the only thing here is to use the search ads to create campaigns for keywords you want to rank, you want to target, and that's maybe you can set like a 10 cents cost per click there, but this is the only way, unfortunately. I guess someday Apple will move from this keyword field to something more, more smart, maybe like Google does when we don't have the keyword field. But right now this is the only way, and I guess it's really outdated. And if someone from Apple is here, please listen to us and to give us more space for optimization to we stuck with this 100 symbols keyword field, and we want more. So right now it's only search ads in my opinion, but maybe you guys have some other things to offer here.
Mel?
Yes, definitely. There's that trick about using the different I mean, this is on Apple, using the different languages to add keywords to your keyword field. So, for example, in the US, if you don't want to target the Spanish, market, which I might not recommend because that is a large part of the population, but you can just add English keywords there, and then your app will start ranking for those words. Obviously, you want to be careful that you can't mix up the words from the Spanish keyword field on the US keyword field. And that's a trick that works in several countries. There's also the English Australia, but because I think that went out, but then it came back. But Ilya can maybe comment on that.
I don't remember actually the current stuff. It's like always enabling, disabling, and like messing this thing around. But I guess right now Australia is working. I know, but maybe for UK or something like this. It's I have to double check this because it's this mess around localizations. I'm really tired of it.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. So they use. I mean, you can try at least. There's that English Australia extra keyword field. That does give you like an extra keyword field in most countries. which is, always good to take as well. But as Ilya said, like sometimes it goes off and then it comes back. So typical Apple stuff where you kind of get tired following where we are.
I know Sylvain, my friend Sylvain in the audience, he talked about IAP, and I know that some of my friends have optimized their IAP names to get better rankings. So that's a little trick for you too, if you want to go with this. Hey guys, there was a question here that I wanted to kind of do the fire, like up and down question. Let me look at this real quick. Define. Yeah, so maybe like, I know, Mel, you kind of answered this, but up or down here, are burst campaigns a good idea at app launch?
I'd say yes, because definitely they do give you like the initial traffic that might help, will lift your app up in the rankings. Sorry, but again, it all depends on the budget that you have, and also in the long term what happens, because what we see a lot, especially in very focusing games here, but they do this huge campaign, the app like spikes and gets in the top charts for like 2 days, and then actually nothing happens behind, and that's when the rankings go down. So you also want to make sure that you don't put all your focus on that specific campaign, because that's a very like short-term vision. It definitely helps get the initial traffic, but you need to have something that also keeps like generating more regular traffic as well. So don't put like all your budget on just one day. That's not because then you really see that the rankings just go up and down.
Got it.
So for that, actually, we have a best practice from APEC region. Some of our clients are actually running pre-order Apple searches campaigns, and even if Apple doesn't give them the number of pre-orders, they keep running these ads during their pre-order time, and when they launch, they start with a really good boost about the number of downloads they are getting. And this is a really good trick, I think, using this pre-order campaign thing, because when the app launched, you get a huge number of downloads in 1 or 2 days. And this is, I think it's a really good trick for gaming category.
Yeah, great, but remember that pre-orders are not giving you like some benefits like higher rankings or anything else. That was in the beginning of the pre-orders, but now it doesn't work. So it's good for like collecting the pre-orders during a couple of months. Then this will give you initial downloads boost, and maybe this help you rank higher for your keywords. So it's all connected. It's working like this.
Hey, Thomas, how long should I wait before I do another ASO update?
Yes, a good question. Depends on how much time you have on the one hand to actually really focus on ASO. But I would say, to give you some kind of rough estimate, I think it's also quite easy to remember. I would say is do it once a month. What we have seen is, or let's say, going a little bit back in history, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it was possible that you could really speed up your ASO workflow quite heavily, because especially the Apple App Store was very fast in indexing new keywords. This meant that you could really do ASO updates on a weekly basis and really easily figure out if you're able to rank for specific keywords or not. But this, I think isn't working that good anymore, because also, at the Apple App Store got more mature, and also the algorithm got a little bit better. So I think having some kind of mental note once a month is actually, I think, a really good timing spot for doing ASO.
I think I saw a great question here by Savan. Again, on the product side, do you guys see a minimum threshold on the retention now that retention is becoming an important factor in the keyword rankings? I'll just toss it up to the group if anybody wants to grab it.
You see, the conversion rate can really affect your keyword ranking, because people will search for the keyword, people will download your app, you will get more downloads, you will rank higher. So it's everything connected. But I guess when we're talking the sub line of conversion rate optimization, it's separate for every category. You have to double check the conversion rate benchmark that I guess several tools have, and check if your conversion rate is it's not below the line, because you have to check the average conversion rate for your category and make some things to improve it if it's below the line. And the more the more installs you will have, the more good rankings you will have. So this brings you to more installs, and it's like a and go on. So,
Mel frozen. Okay, shoot.
yeah,
Lost Mel
Mel.
there. All right,
Okay.
Thomas, you got anything to add on that one, or Mustafa?
We are talking about retention rates, right? Not conversion rates. Like,
Right. Is there a minimum threshold that you should try to hit?
I don't know the numbers, but definitely Google is doing some really weird stuff about your app vitals and the retention rates. And they're trying everything to understand whether your app is really good or not. So having a high retention rate according to your category is really important, because as we know from the developer console itself, they are giving some benchmarks about your app and the other apps on your category about the retentions and other vitals. It's really important to keep an eye on those metrics and keep an eye on those benchmarks to signal Google that we are really creating a good app in the store, and we are serving our customers, our clients, our users really well. This is really important, I think, for the Google.
Hey Mel, so what about like when Devin was kind of clarifying his question, but like compared to retention rate versus like uninstall rate, how does that have an impact?
Good question. I just wanted to jump back on the retention thing, because definitely need to like be better than your category. That's like the basic thing. And the same thing with uninstalls. It's everything Google does is really compare you with your category, and that's also true for Android vitals. And so you always just want to be better than your category, which is like easy to say, but we actually saw this. I saw this question like coming up a lot, like how do I choose my category and what does category impact? Well, actually on Google, a lot of stuff is doing compared to your category. And so what we saw, for instance, this, again, this gaming app, another game studio, they actually changed their category because they kind of changed the shift of their game. So they didn't do any ASO update, they just changed the category. And in the previous category, they were actually really bad in terms of general Android vitals, or the retention rate was less, like wasn't as good as other games in that same category. And when they did the switch, without changing anything in the app per se, they were actually in a category where their vitals were better than the rest of the apps in that category. And that had a really nice impact on their visibility. So obviously, I'm not saying here you guys should like jump around and test all these categories and see where you fit the most. But yeah, what Google does at least is always compare you with your peers and compare you with the other categories. And so that's something to take in mind. And just to finish on that category thing, also, how does category rank like impact keyword? I'd say that definitely category rank is important, because it's in terms of what it's shown on your app product page. You'll see like if you rank better in a category, then that really has an impact on your conversion, because people would rather download an app that's number 4 in a category than number 15. And so that can have a big impact on your conversion. And obviously, as soon as your conversion is better, then that has an impact on your general keyword rankings and so on.
Yeah, no, sorry, so one more thing I would like to add here. Yeah, well, you're right. Google is checking everything. Your AppMetrics is comparing with your peers inside the category, but it's the right thing that you don't have to like jump from one category to another, because one day we did this. One day we moved our travel app from travel category to the lifestyle. I don't know why we did this, but eventually we lose almost every single download from the Explore channel. So and it took about several I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months to recover it, because Google like re-index our app, and we lose every download from Explore, and we spent really big time to bring it back. So be careful with it. Don't do it every day, please.
On the note of the categories, there's 2 new categories on iOS: developer tools, and I think it's graphic and design or something. And so, as Mel pointed out, like if you want to be high in those categories, they're brand new. They're on iOS 13.4. We just recorded a video yesterday about it, kind of saying like, hey, start to utilize, because it's something that you can't explore, but as you see it, like if you search for Behance, they're number 1 in graphic and design. All right, guys. So thank you for your time. I think we covered most of the questions. If there's anything I missed, please feel free to jump in. But before we say goodbye, because we've got about 4 minutes left, why don't we give a plug? Mustafa, you want to start? And then if there's anything that I missed that you want to make sure we cover, why don't you say your piece there as well, and then give us a plug on where we should check out wherever you guys are from. Wrong person to start with. Thomas, you want to
go? Yes, I mean there is because I see the list of the questions there. I think there is one important question that is still open, and the question is why is ASO is still important, or is ASO still important? I want to take this one and say yes, it totally is, because in the end of the day, it doesn't matter which kind of marketing activity you do or which kind of user acquisition channel you're focusing on and running your ads and spending your budget. In the end, all those traffic that you're generating will come to your App Store page, and there you have to convince them to download your app. And I think this is what App Store optimization is really about nowadays, to really nail your presence within the App Store. On the one hand, being visible for organic search, so people searching for your app so that they hopefully find it. And on the other hand, really optimizing your store listing so that it really drives conversion. So once people are there, and so when they get there, that they really download the app. And yeah, I think this is a really very important statement, to see this as a complete, as I would say, really the base layer of, it doesn't matter which kind of user acquisition strategy you're running.
Cool. And then appradar.com.
And appradar.com. Check it out. Free tool, sign up, and go for it.
Yeah. Mustafa, you got something that I missed? And then give us a plug.
Actually, we didn't talk about Google tags. Google introduced some tags from the developers. That they are requiring for developers to add something to their metadata, and didn't tell anything about what these tags are going to do. I would like to actually open up this question to everyone, because we have really looked into those tags, and we couldn't actually come up with a really solid answer to those tags. But other than that, I think ASO is still important. And it will be important as long as the apps are being downloaded from the app stores. So I would like to I would like to thank you, and I would like to thank the AppFollow team for inviting us. Yes.
Yeah, mobileaction.co. All right, Mel, you got anything to add with the tags or anything that I missed, and then give us a plug?
Not necessarily with the tags. I mean, I could talk about that, but I did see in the discussion, and I wanted to jump on that, but that's when I cut out, on how long you have to wait before doing an ASO update. I just wanted to add something that I think is quite different on Apple and Google, because Apple is really reactive, whereas Google, I would generally actually wait like 6 to 8 weeks before actually making any decision, because Google picks up much more elements before, actually just, and it's much more gradual. Whereas Apple, like, you have this 1 week boost, and then you kind of see where you land. And also, I'd say this is something that we really learned, is that we used to be doing like ASO changes a lot, and then at one point we got it wrong. And what I really recommend is that if you're starting with ASO, at the beginning you start from scratch. And so obviously on Apple, every 3 to 4 weeks you can change that set of keywords, and keep testing until you find a nice set of keywords that works. Once you have that set of keywords, don't change it like every month just for changing it. Change it for seasonal events, if it's like Christmas, or if there's this big like sports events, then change it, or change it when a competitor has done something, or change it maybe every 2 or 3 months, but don't change it just to change it. If those keywords are working, you want to keep them there. And same thing for Google. Again, at the beginning, if you're like more in a testing mode, I'd say you could iterate every 6 to 8 weeks. But again, once you have a nice set of keywords, just test them, just change them when there's actually a real reason to change them. And seasonality is really important. So, when there's Halloween or Christmas in games, that's really important. When there's a sports event in the sports category, that's really important. So you want to be aware of those as well and use that in your ASO strategy.
Cool. And AppTweak.
AppTweak.com.
Ilya, let's kick it off.
Yeah. All of us on the ASO Stack Slack as well, and I'm saying this for me, but for I guess everyone else, that you can also reach out to us through that channel. So like if you still have questions that you want us to answer.
Yeah, right. So I guess first of all, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. That's I guess this was a such a hour spent so fast, and we also don't have time to answer every question we got. So like several hundreds of them here. But I guess this question, why ASO is still important, is the great question to finish our discussion here. And even more, I would like to add here, not only why ASO is important, but how can we convince our managers to to spend more budget on ASO, and how can we work ASO like in with paid user acquisition? How can we help each other? So, but I guess this can be just another big discussion of how can we do this and to to help each other. But right now we are running out of time. So I guess thank you.
You just teased us. You didn't even give us an answer. You could give us a quick answer.
Yeah, right. You're right.
What is it, Ilya? I mean, you just teased us. You tickled me a little bit, and you never like fully finished. You know.
So I can speak, as I working with the paid user acquisition department, I can speak like several hours about how to do this, how to convince people to spend more money on ASO. But I guess we don't have several hours right now here.
All right. Well, it's
Yeah.
important. How about that?
Absolutely.
We wouldn't all be here if it wasn't. So AppFollow.io. I want to thank you guys for coming. I want to thank you all for the great questions that you submitted as well. I am at AppMasters.com. You guys want to learn more about me? Thank you guys. I do think that the recording will be here. I'll check up with Kate, but I'm sure she'll let you guys know as well. So for Mustafa, Ilya, Mel, Thomas, thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.